All right, Meghan, welcome back to Canada, back home.
Good to be back.
Congratulations on Golden Child. Were you the golden child in your family?
Yes, very much so. Yeah.
Well, you said this new album kind of reflects a lot on your past trauma, domestic abuse. Obviously a very personal topic. What do you want to share about that?
I mean, I think, for me, I look at it this way. I've been given a gift, as a songwriter and as a performer, and I've been given a voice and a platform. And I want to use that platform to help others and to empower, especially women, other women. And, I think when I can take, some of the worst, most difficult things that have happened to me in my life and, heal from them and do the work myself and then kind of channel that into helping others who have been through the same thing. I've spoken to women who have told me that my music has inspired them to leave their abuser. Wow. I mean, what's more powerful than that? I mean, I am very, very blessed and grateful for the awards that I have, but I can tell you that when I'm on my deathbed one day, hopefully a long way down the road,
no time soon,
I won't be thinking about trophies. I'll be thinking about the lives I impacted and the people I was able to empower.
You also talk a lot about self-love. What was the turning point for you that you turned into that direction?
When I wrote Blood from a Stone, that was, obviously a deeply personal, difficult topic to even talk about, let alone put into a song. And when the one person who's supposed to kind of love you unconditionally doesn't, it can be really hard to not think okay, well, what's wrong with me? Why am I not worthy of being loved? And so it took a lot of therapy and just work on myself, of getting to a place of realizing it's not my fault and it's not actually about me or my worth. It's her problem, And so once I got to a place where I just got tired of not feeling good about myself and realized I can actually just choose to love myself and value myself. And that just kind of started me on a whole journey of, in general, just as a person in my personal life, but also in my career, of just deciding to not chase that external validation anymore and kind of find it within.
Who would you say then is your big sister in the country music industry?
Terri Clark.
Yeah?
Yeah. Terry's the best.
When did you guys meet? How did your friendship come about?
I met Terri, gosh, it was probably I want to say maybe 8 or so years ago, through a mutual friend, her agent actually. I met her, I had played Cavendish Festival, and she was, I was coming back to the hotel, and I only had 3 hours to sleep before I had to go get on a plane to go to Calgary and play Stampede.
The biggest city.
And yeah. And her agent, our friend Nick, saw me and called me over. He's like, hey, come have a drink. I was like, dude, I gotta sleep. And he's like, Terri Clark's over there. She wants to meet you. I said, okay, absolutely. I'll sleep when I'm dead. And so ever since then, obviously I always had looked up to her, but after meeting, we really connected and had so much in common, and she's been an incredible just friend and mentor to me. She is honestly was a huge inspiration behind me making this record as honest and as authentic as it was, because I called her one time and I was really frustrated, really down in the dumps, and she just said, you know what, Meghan, you know what you're doing. She said, you're one of the hardest working people I've ever met, and she's like, if you are ever going to go all in on yourself, now is the time to do it. So I have to shout out my girl Terri for that.
Shout out Terri. Is she someone you would call throughout the making of the album and turn to advice for certain songs?
Terry's one of the first people I would call in a lot of situations. She just, she's been through it. She's kind of, like you said, she is my big sister, the big sister to my big sister. And it's she just has experienced so much as a woman in the industry, and she's one of the, few to have not only success in Canada, but in the U.S. and internationally as well. And so, she's got a wealth of wisdom.
Good big sister to have.
Your YouTube docuseries was a really raw look into what you went through in the music industry. Were you always open to be that honest?
No. I mean, I think that I've always been as honest and as as authentic as I was capable of being at any given time. But it's, you know, it's hard to be completely honest with everyone else when you haven't figured out how to be honest with yourself yet. And I pushed down a lot of things and pushed away a lot of things out of protection. And, you know, eventually as you get older, you'll realize like nothing ever really goes away. You're going to have to face it at some point. You're going to have to eventually go through it. You can't just keep going around it. So yeah, I think, you know, I had to, but at the same time, I had to go through everything I went through to get this clarity and this confidence, and to, you know, feel like I was ready to make the record that I did.
And in episode 1, you candidly say you lost all your money. How did you find the strength after that to rebuild?
I mean, you know, it comes down to, I always have had to ask myself the same question when I get really defeated, which is, are you going to quit? And the answer is always no. I mean, what am I going to, telling myself like, okay, you really think you're just going to wake up every day and not think about songs and not want to write songs, and you're going to go watch your husband and your friends perform and tour, and you're not going to wish you were on that stage. Right? Yeah. And there's just no way. I mean, it's not just what I do, it's who I am, and it's the thing that I'm most passionate about, and it's my God-given gift. And, you know, and so that's why I feel like for me, you know, it's not just about chasing that commercial success or the accolades. It's about taking my gifts and the platform that I've been given because of those gifts to help others and to put good things into the world and help especially the little girls that are all looking up to me, standing in the front row. You know, I want to make them feel empowered, you know.
And this is important for anyone to hear in any industry, you know, not just music, to keep going. If that's what your gift is, then follow through.
But I mean, if this is what your dream is, be okay with being broke and being frustrated and like, I mean,
we know.
I mean, honestly, it's like when people ask me like, oh, like, what's the secret? And it's like, it's not really a secret, but it's also not what most people want to hear. And the reality is that if you want to do this and you want to be successful at it, you just have to be prepared to never give up, and you need to just outlast some other people.
Well, now you've been on the road with John Party. That's pretty amazing. What's that been like?
Yeah, I mean, I've actually, it's funny, I toured with John like when I first got started. He was actually the opener for Kip Moore.
Oh my
So one of the first tours I ever did was with him. So it's been cool to just,
Full
you know,
circle.
watch how he's blown up. And I mean, I'm such a big fan of his music.
Are you guys all like hanging out before the shows, doing anything crazy?
I mean, honestly, not to like burst the bubble, but like most tours, it's work.
Yeah.
We're still working. Like, yes, our job is to make it feel like a party for the audience, but like it's not a party really for us. Party.
John Party.
We talked a little bit about, obviously you were married to Mitchell Tenpenny. Is work and you put it away, or does he come and give you advice? Like, how do you manage working or being married to somebody that's in the same industry?
I mean, I'll say this, like, definitely any big decisions that I make, you know, my husband is one of those rare breeds where he's, you know, a really blessed musician and songwriter and artist, but he's also incredibly business-minded and very smart in that aspect of the industry.
I guess he gets it from his grandma.
Yes, yeah. I mean, he was literally, like, born into it and grew up around it. So, you know, he's definitely my first person to talk to, ask advice of. He's the first person that hears every new song I write. So we definitely, you know, I value so much that we're in the same industry, but we also try and like have a good balance of like, okay, we're not going to talk about work. Like if we're going out for dinner or whatever, we're going for a date, we're not going to talk about work, you know, which can be hard for both
You're
of
like,
us.
what do we talk about?
Yeah.
Right. 'Cause, I mean, it's like literally all I do is work.
We'll take us way back for those fans who don't know. You guys met at Losers in Nashville? Okay, explain.
Long story short, I was in a tree stand. I was deer hunting.
Very
and,
Meghan Patrick.
A friend of mine had texted me. She was like meeting up with some guy for like some kind of blind date situation, and she wanted me to go with her, like kind of wingman / like make sure she was safe, you know. And so I was like, yeah, for sure. Like I just, you know, I'm 45 minutes out of town. I got to go home and change. It's going to be, she's like, no, there's not enough time. Like, just come as you are. And at the time, I really didn't want to date anybody. I was like kind of actively trying to not date anyone. So I was like, okay, sure, whatever. Who cares? You know,
who cares
what I look like?
Yeah.
And so, you know, I met up with her. We went in. She met up with the guy, and she kind of like gave me the thumbs up. She was good to go, and I felt pretty confident like that he wasn't gonna like chop her up in a crawl space or something.
She's good. It is a worry.
It is a concern, very real concern. And I was about to leave, and I ran into one of Mitchell's best friends, Dallas Wilson, who's a songwriter, and we started talking, and he was like, oh, you need to meet my friend Mitchell. You guys haven't met? Because I guess he had kind of like spotted me and was like, who's that? Because he was like, I'm from here. He's like, I know everyone in town. I've never seen her before, you know? So, yeah, and then it was love at first sight for him. It was love at like third sight for me.
Yeah. I was going to say, did you play hard to get?
Yeah.
I wasn't even playing anything. I just genuinely was not in that headspace. Yeah, I just really didn't. I was coming off of a kind of really bad relationship and just was like wanted to be focused on work and music. And he knew that. I kind of tried to like push him away at first because I was just like,
then it just makes
listen, you're gonna disappoint me at some point. So let's just get it out of the way now. That's very much how I felt about men and relationships at the time. But he just kept showing up and convincing me otherwise, and now we're married.
What was the epic pickup line that we've heard about, but we don't know what it is?
Yeah, what did he say?
So the second time I ran into him, I had just won Female Artist of the Year at the CCMAs, and he just walked up to me at Losers also. I spent a lot of time at Losers in the early years. And he just walked up to me and he goes, hey, Miss Female Artist of the Year. And I was like, hey. He goes, oh, yeah. I creeped your Instagram. I was hard as a kneecap. So he's going to kill me. He's going to kill me for saying that.
And now they're married.
I think there was quite a bit of tequila maybe consumed before he came up with that gem. I mean, it was pretty funny. I think it's pretty funny still. Would probably be mortified if he knew I had said that.
We're definitely using this.
Well, oh God, he's going to kill me.
If he wins New Artist,
it was a good run. We made it 2 years, but he's going to divorce me now.
Congrats.
But you wrote a song about Mitchell. On your album. It's actually one of
few songs, yeah.
Oh, okay, but Mitchell's song.
Yes.
The Sweet Spot. Did he know that was coming, or how did you present that to him or perform it?
He'd heard the song before, and so the reason why I ended up deciding to call it Mitchell's song, when I first wrote it, I showed it to him, and he just immediately was like, oh my God, this might be like my favorite song you've ever written. I love this so much. And he told me at one point, he asked me to send it to him, and he told me one night that he used to always go and listen to it in his studio, like if I was gone or on the road. And I just thought that was so sweet. And like, the thing is, I mean, of course, you know, he's my husband, he loves me, and he's excited for anything I do, but because he's also an artist, like I can tell when he genuinely likes a song just because he likes it as a song, not because his wife wrote it. And so I don't know, it just, and to me, I mean, honestly, almost the whole back half of the record is pretty much songs about Mitchell, but for me, that song, like, really encompasses what true love is about. You know, it's not just about the initial butterflies and the date nights and the roses and, you know, all of the kind of romantic stuff. Like, for me, like, real love is two people who, no matter what, no matter how much they might drift apart from time to time, no matter how much they might butt heads, they always continue to fight for each other and find their way back to each other, to the sweet spot.
Yeah.
That's what real love is to me. And so, yeah, I felt like he deserved to have a song. So he did not know about it. I showed him when I got the vinyl, and I was like showing it to him, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm like, look at that. There's a little something.
Did he notice right
there? He didn't notice right away. I was like, did you see that? And he loved it. So, yeah.
Well, if there's any song to be written about you, it's that one.
So we also asked Mitchell if there was a question that he would be scared to ask you. And it was, what do you think of his Pokemon collection?
Oh my God. I mean, I do tease him about it. I do.
Or like, does Megan think that's an ick?
No,
like,
no.
what is this red flag?
Honestly, like, I tease him about it, but like, honestly, I think it's kind of cute and endearing. Like, he's still kind of got that little boy at heart thing
So
going
giddy.
on, and it's like, I mean, listen, there are much worse things he could be collecting or spending money on.
Yes.
So
That's
I mean,
a
whatever.
very good point.
It gives him joy, and like, you know, he just sits at our counter and he just like organizes them and puts them in these like binders and stuff. It's super nerdy. And
That's so cute.
I don't think it's an egg. I think it's really cute. But I mean, I understand. It's like if you find something that quiets your mind, then you got to roll with
Yeah.
it. So if that's what keeps him sane, then
Bring
I'm
some
all for
joy.
it.
I
Yeah.
love it.
We need to get him some like Pikachu pajamas or something next scenario.
I know, right?
Lastly, you mentioned it's your 2-year wedding anniversary. What do you remember most when you look back about that day? Like, what was the crazy moment?
Did anything go wrong?
Yeah.
No, it literally
Did anyone
was,
get really drunk?
I mean, we did.
As you should.
Not in a messy way.
Yeah.
We had a really good time. I mean, it truly was like such a perfect day.
It looked it.
I mean, the moments that stand out, I remember right before I was getting ready to like go down to the ceremony, it just kind of like hit me like, whew, okay, like I'm doing this. I'm literally getting married. And I kind of walked off from the group. I was like, hey, give me a second, guys. And so I kind of walked away, and we were at a mutual friend's farm. And I just said, God, I'm like, I'm just so grateful for this day. And like, I feel really good about it, but just you know, like everything's okay, right? And it was like literally the sun came out from behind a cloud, and this like breeze like blew in, and it like made me tear up, because it was just like I just felt so at peace, because it was like I was expecting to freak out, but I wasn't freaking out.
Yeah.
You know, I just felt
It was like
really
a calm.
happy and at peace. And then, you know, of course, when we did the first look, that was pretty amazing, both with him and with my dad. So, but the whole day was really perfect. Yeah.
I just got chills.
I know. I'm like, I want my wedding to be like that. Gotta get engaged
Listen,
first.
if you don't feel calm and at peace on your wedding day, like if something did go wrong, I didn't know about it or I didn't notice
Perfect.
it, and I wouldn't have cared.
Or you just roll with it.
It just didn't matter.
Doesn't
Like
matter.
the only thing that mattered was I was going to walk down the aisle and I was going to say my vows before God and everybody that I loved, and that was the best part of it.
Congratulations on everything. We're so
Yeah.
happy for you.
Aw, that's so
I know.
sweet. I know you're tearing.
I'm like single.